everyone. Welcome back to the Walk of Wealth. My name is Dr. Jonathan Withanacci, or Dr. Johnny Walker. I'm a seasoned endodontist of 15 years, and I'm also the principal and founder of Walk of Wealth Capital, which is a real estate investment firm which specializes in helping dentists achieve multiple streams of cash flow and making the transition from rich to wealthy. Our mission is to help 1,000 dentists achieve true financial freedom through passive investment in real estate. On this episode, I'm going to give you the top 3 takeaways that I got from my trip to New Orleans just a couple of weeks ago. Now, this mastermind group isn't just one that anyone can go to. This mastermind group costs $50,000 per year just to be a member. And this retreat in New Orleans was a members only retreat. And you might be thinking, you paid $50,000 to be in a mastermind group? And when I did, I thought I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? But let me tell you, in retrospect, it has been worth every penny. Investment in yourself will give an ROI that exceeds any other investment. Now, this gathering brought together the best and brightest real estate entrepreneurs from around the country. And when you get together a group of people that are all on a quest for excellence, that are all on a quest for financial independence and wealth creation, a synergistic effect happens. 1 + 1 = 4. Takeaway number 1, more millionaires will be made from now and over the next 24 months than the last 10 years combined. There was an overwhelming consensus of this gathering of 200+ real estate entrepreneurs that massive opportunities are coming our way. Opportunities that we haven't seen since the great financial recession of 2008. As you've probably known, if you watch this channel or pay attention to any of my emails, this historic rise in interest rates has created a ton of turmoil and uncertainty and an overall pessimistic view of the economic marketplace. There's $1.5 trillion of floating rate commercial real estate loans coming due within the next 12 to 24 months. And I'm talking about in all sectors of commercial real estate. Whether it's multifamily real estate, whether it's mobile home parks, whether it's nursing homes, whether it's self-storage. Almost all of these assets have some component of floating rate debt, right? Almost all of them are leveraged assets. And in really competitive markets, we've seen people that had to get bridge loans or short-term loans that have a floating rate of interest. It might be fixed for a 3-year period, but after 3 years, rises to whatever the prevailing interest rate is. And a lot of operators had to get this type of financing versus fixed-rate long-term debt because, number one, the business plan may be shorter in length, so you can avoid prepayment penalties. And most importantly, in really competitive markets like Phoenix, like Houston, like Dallas, the only way that these buyers can be competitive in an environment where everybody's competing for these assets by getting floating rate, right? Floating rate debt allows you to offer more. But people that bought in, say, 2021, interest rates were 2.9%. And now, say it's a 3-year term and we're headed for January 2024 in just a few months at the time of this recording, and they know that interest rates, they have it at 2.9%. It's going to readjust in January to 8%. They know that they don't have the income from the property that can service that debt, right? The mortgage went from 3% to 8%, it's almost tripled. When this loan resets, we are screwed. We don't have enough income coming in that we're gonna have to service the debt and we are gonna be insolvent. What are their options? Number one option, hey, if they're operating really well, they're at 95% occupancy, they've executed their business plan, they've raised rent, then they may be able to go and refinance. But hey, refinances, banks aren't doing them right now. Very few banks are doing it. And if they are refinancing, they're giving very low loan to values. Their loan proceeds have gone way down. Before they were lending 75, 80% of the purchase price. Now they're lending more like 50 or 60%. So refinance probably not going to work. What's the next option? Let's use our construction budgets, use our renovation capital, our reserve capital to pay these interest rates, because we're going to hope and pray that if we can last long enough, interest rates are slowly going to come back down and we're going to be saved by the bell. Very fraught with risk, terrible approach, which some not so good operators have done. They couldn't withstand it. They blew through the reserves and now they foreclose or sell at firebrand prices, which is what we're seeing happen. Takeaway number 2, are you willing to take a bullet for your investors? It's not the gun that'll kill you, it's the bullet. No, I'm just kidding. Now, I got this takeaway, this quote, from a panel that went up and spoke in front of us. It was a group of operators that was facing distress, that have been doing this game for a very long time, have had investors that have invested and invested over year after year because they built a reputation of being honest and having integrity with the way that they do business, as well as delivering superior results. Now, in good times, these qualities in an operator don't matter as much. We've seen all kinds of people that had no business in multifamily real estate come in 2019, buy huge apartment buildings, not do anything to them, not renovate a single unit, and 18 months later they're able to sell at massive profits because rents were spiking out of control. So those days are over, right? Now the operations, who that operator is going to become more and more important as we move forward. The times of just making money hands over fist without even looking are very much over. And it is going to take more prudent, more digging, analyzing the operators or the sponsor, the people that are responsible for actually executing the business plan on these real estate deals. If you see guys like Giavelli, who Nightingale Properties, just very recent, this is the talk of the town in multifamily real estate arena, walked away from a 3,200 unit property, just handed over the keys to the bank in a foreclosure. $64 million of investor equity was lost. This was a deal that was sourced on CrowdStreet, which is a large crowdfunding site. There's other things that are happening in the marketplace also right now. There's a lot of distress, even in multifamily. You see operators that are running out of cash, they might do a capital call. For those of you not familiar with a capital call, I've seen a deal very recently, Elevate Capital. They've had multiple cash calls on their deal. And I've seen one investment where an investor that invested $100K had to cough up an additional 25% just so that the deal wouldn't go under, right? So now the investors have this decision to make, like, well, I invested 100 already. Do I want to put more good money after bad? Or I do believe that if I put another $25,000 of my money into it, this might help to save the property. Very scary things happening, very scary stuff. And that's why, are you willing to take a bullet for your investor? Part of my mastermind group, I happen to have personal relationships as well as business understanding of some of these really, really great operators, right? And I think that's what really is going to allow you to be successful year after year in these type of investments, is by partnering with the absolute best. So now there's a couple of operators that were up there. One was reduced to tears because she cared so much about her investors' capital and potentially losing it. She is okay with losing her own money, but not investor money. Now, what did she do in this situation? Well, she put up $1 million of her own cash to make the investors whole and recouped as much as she could from legal proceeds, where she was able to recoup most of it, but not all. Even in that particular deal, she may have lost a little money, but she made a great impact on her investors and probably helped propel her business even further. Because when things are bad, you want to know that the people that are acting on behalf of your money are the people of top integrity, have the best core value. When everything is good and everybody's making money, it's easy to talk the big game about, hey, I live abundantly, I do the X, Y, and Z, I do anything for my investors. But when S hits the fan, ladies and gentlemen, who is going to stand up for you? Who is going to execute on your behalf? And so this comes down to being a really good operator. On top of that, you want your operators to be well capitalized. They have to have reserve. You don't want them putting every penny of their money into the down payment on the property, and then they have no button to push. Because when things go wrong, a good operator has a magic button they can push. Hey, look, I can capitalize this deal. I can find the funds to at least float it and get it through, right? So having good core values, well-capitalized operator greatly enhances your predictability of outcome, predictability of success and profits. Last one, takeaway number 3. This is a quote from the great Michael Jordan. Talent wins games, but teams win championships. I love this quote by Michael Jordan. This embodies kind of what I'm going through right now. I have several businesses. I have a couple of endodontic practices. And so what I've realized, and now I have this capital firm, and we've been able to be extremely successful. We've invested in $241 million of real estate with his 1,623 apartment units. Now, what has allowed me to scale so fast and do so much so quickly by building an excellent team around me. Now, the team members that I have currently that are absolute rock stars just happen to fall in my lap. They happen to be in my existing network, and I was very lucky and fortunate. So there you have it. Those are the top 3 takeaways. Obviously, in these type of retreats, there's a lot of intangibles. A lot of the value comes not from the people speaking at the panels, but it actually comes from between sessions, networking lunches, retreat-sponsored happy hours. This is where you get to really meet these individuals, learn about them, their core values, their business, their approach, their thesis. It's just an incredible bonding experience, working with like-minded people. And like I said, it was 1 + 1 is not equal to 2 when you're in a group like this. You get synergistic effect. I'm not looking for linear growth. I'm looking for exponential growth. I'm looking for things that are giving me quantum leaps in understanding of business and in understanding of how to grow a business. I get immense value from these masterminds. Now for you, you might not go to a real estate mastermind, but you should go to a mastermind or a retreat or conferences in things that you're interested in. All right, guys, I hope you gained a ton of value from this. Please smash the like button if you did. If you enjoyed this video, the next video hopefully will be as impactful. We are going to talk about, should doctors invest actively in real estate or passively in real estate? All right, guys, until the next video, take care of yourself and each other. I'm Dr. Johnny Walker, and click right here to go to the next video.